This behind one of the Manchester wood Mount Equinox on that side, and into.
I was born in Reading, Vermont.
By gunsmith John Dowd in Goshen, Connecticut. So he died in March. He was going to be buried. We're here today to talk about the Equinox Spring Water Company. It was formed in 1890 by Franklin Norvis to tout what he'd always been serving to his guests, which was a fresh, beautiful spring water off Mount Equinox. Where's the spring on Mount Equinox? There's so many springs coming down off that we don't know actually which one he actually used to bottle the water with. But it did come off the mountain, that we know for sure. And we have some of these wonderful bottles that have survived the ages, and we're really excited to have them as part of the collection. And you'll be able to find them on display every now and again upstairs in the library, or if you come down here in the archives, I'd be happy to show them to you. And as an added treat, we're actually going to go out to show you where the bottling plant stood. So here we are now in Manchester Village. We're actually up behind the Equinox Resort. This is where the original bottling plant stood. It was close to the source on all the springs that were up on Mount Equinox, so that way they could just pipe the water down. They had the bottling plant down on the lower levels. On the upstairs part, there was a spa. That's where the baseball club would meet. They had cycling clubs. It was all really exciting, and it was there primarily for the guests of the Equinox house. So once the water was bottled up, they had to get it basically down to shipment in Manchester Depot. So what they did was, this is back in the horse and carriage days, okay? So they would go down this road. Now, West Union Street used to divide the hotel and run all the way up. They would roll down West Union Street in between the hotel, down Main Street and into the depot. That was a lot of work back then, before automobiles. So, you know, come the 1920s, what they had to do is they had to figure out what's a more efficient way to get their bottles to market. So what they did was they moved the bottling plant. How'd they move the bottling plant? Well, they moved into what's today the RK Miles corporate office, you know, the big yellow building in the yard. They moved there. That's where the bottling plant was. Well, what about the water? Well, the water, what they did was they piped the water down from the mountain. They had a dedicated spring water line that went from all the way up on the mountain down to the bottling plant in the depot. Did they really do that? I think they probably did. Did they maybe drop a siphon into the West Branch? Maybe they did. I don't know. I'm just kind of making that up. But no. So what they did really was they piped it down, and it lasted until the late 1920s when the whole operation folded up. So what happened to the building? It turned into a dormitory for workers at the Equinox House. By the 1960s, it was the women's dorm. Then they tore it down. And today, Mother Nature has taken back over. The resort now uses it for landscape fill, etc. There's no trace of the building whatsoever. Now, I've talked to a lot of people who remember the building being here, and they remember the big marble step that sat in the front. And they remember coming in here. They used to sneak in here so they could see some of those women that were in the dormitories, but that's another story. But, you know, thanks to people, those dwarfs who take all those old pictures, we know that, yes, there was a building here. That, yes, for probably 20 or 30 years, there was all kinds of activity going on here, bottling, sports activities, spa. And today, it's just quiet. We can hear some of the football players over there on the field. And until next time that I see you on Timestamp, this is Sean from the Historical Society. Thanks very much.